Hey everyone, welcome to our Game Thinking Starter Kit walkthrough and AMA. We're live now on, it says my browser has lost connection. All right. So I want to make sure you all can hear me. Please let me know if you can hear me and say hello and tell us where you're from. I hope we're going to give people a few minutes to gather and make sure that everything is working. So please let me know if you can hear me by making a comment. All right. All right, so we're going to get going once we get confirmation that folks can hear us. All right. This is looking good. Ruby, please comment and make sure that you let me know if you can hear us. I'm getting a message that my mic isn't connected to the browser, so I want to make sure it's working. All right. Yes, awesome. So welcome everyone. All right, so thank you for coming here and joining us. Oh, goodness gracious. Just looking for my, no, where is it? There we go. So thanks for joining us. I'm Amy Jo Kim. I'm the founder of the Game Thinking Academy, and I'm the author of the book Game Thinking, which you may know is on sale this week for just $1.99. That's the ebook. So if you're designing an innovative product, game thinking is your secret weapon. It's not just for games. That's the first thing I want you to understand about game thinking if you're new to it. It's probably the most common question we get. Game thinking is for anyone who wants to engage their customers with learning and mastery. It's a cutting edge innovation system. It's used by top companies like Disney, Netflix, Google, Tesla, as well as game companies like Ubisoft, EA, and Jam City. So I hope it's clear to you that it's definitely not just for games, but game thinking is also incredibly useful for games. If you're building a business that depends on customer retention, game thinking can be your secret weapon. That's the big takeaway I want you to get. If you're not really that interested in customer retention, especially long-term retention, this might not be for you. But if you are, stay tuned because this opens a lot of doors. So a lot of folks have been asking me, so I want to get started with game thinking. How do I get started? This summer, I've had the pleasure of speaking to entrepreneurs in Serbia, in India, in Turkey, just yesterday, in Africa. There's so much interest all over the world. And we really want to make it accessible and not just get you started, but get you seeing some value right away. So we've put together a starter pack to make it easy to know what to do step by step to get these powerful ideas working for you. If you're just joining us, hi, I'm Amy Jo Kim, founder of the Game Thinking Academy. And I want you to put your questions about game thinking into the comments because we're going to have an AMA right after I do this walkthrough of our starter pack. Now you can find our game thinking starter pack at gamethinking.io/starter pack. Okay. So if you go there, you're going to find three things. First, you will find a handy link to the game thinking book, in particular the ebook. So this book lays out a complete step-by-step system for rapid innovation. It's structured to be actionable and take you step by step through an entire system, but give you lots of tips you can use right away as well to help you save time and save money, especially if you have a team. You learn how to set up smarter product experiments. You learn how to find exactly the right people for your offer and how to design a compelling and empowering customer journey that keeps people coming back. Now, this week, we've been selling the ebook for just $1.99. We did this to make it broadly accessible to people all over the world. This offer ends Monday. We can only do it for a week at a time, so make sure you grab it before then. You can get the link at gamethinking.io/starter kit. Now, also in our starter kit, we have an Innovators Quiz. Now, this Innovators Quiz is designed to help you get the most juice out of this learning, because the game thinking step-by-step system works for many types of innovators. We've got the case studies that show that. But we also see clearly in our work that the system works best when it's customized to each innovator's particular type and role in their ecosystem. So we created a quiz that helps you identify your innovation type, and then we send you a customized cheat sheet with starter tips that'll help you get results for your specific situation. So go ahead and go to gamethinking.io/starter kit, take the quiz, discover your type, and get your customized cheat sheet to complement the game thinking book. It's filled with tips that you can use right away. Now, we've also put together a collection of starter videos that you can get some immediate gratification with. These are very short, 5 or 7 minute, sometimes 10-minute videos that are our top introductory videos on our Game Thinking TV channel on YouTube. These are all free. You can watch them right away, and they can help you and your team understand the basics and understand how game thinking fits in relationship to design thinking, in relationship to gamification, in relationship to Lean Agile, in relationship to systems thinking. So watch these videos and you'll really understand why and how game thinking isn't just for game designers, but also for anyone who builds products and wants to leverage a cutting edge, modern approach to product design that synthesizes the best from these other modern approaches. So that's what we got for you this week. Our summer sale on our ebook and our game thinking starter kit to make it easy and accessible for you to put game thinking to work in your business right away. So now, there we go. I would like to invite you to go to the starter kit and also ask me any questions you have. Type in your questions. Oops, sorry. Type in your questions into the chat and our team will relay them here. I think we have some already queued up from the posts we did before this meeting. Scott, do we have any queued up questions?
Yes, Laura writes in and she
can't hear you, Scott. There you are.
Yeah. Hey,
First of all, let me introduce Scott. This is Scott Kim, the co-founder of Game Thinking.
Hi. So Laura writes in, I'm in FinTech. How can Game Thinking help me?
That's a really good question. So if you're in FinTech, you may not want to build a game. Some people try and make something like a game. But in FinTech, you really need to serve the customer's needs. And the landscape of FinTech is changing rapidly. That's part of the reason why game thinking is ideal for people in FinTech. It helps you get your finger on the pulse of market need and really then be able to differentiate yourself from other competitors by really serving the needs of people rather than just relying on gamification tricks or dark patterns to pull people in, which can work in the short term, but really backfires in the long term. You'll notice in our smart gamification introductory video in the starter kit that we speak to that and give you some tools for diagnosing whether you're using techniques for short-term customer engagement or short-term acquisition, or whether you're really building a learning path that's going to engage people long-term. The other reason that game thinking is so great for fintech is that there's an overall much larger shift. People aren't trusting banks. There's a lot of distrust of collecting info, et cetera. So being able to build trust and empowerment into your product from the ground up, which is what the game thinking tools give you, is a real differentiator in fintech right now. And in fact, most of our bigger clients this year have been in fintech. So you're definitely in good company. Are there any other questions, Scott?
We also have a question from Gail. And now he says he's familiar with the design thinking, and from what he's read about game thinking, it sounds a little bit similar. And he wonders what's the difference between design thinking and game thinking.
So that's another great question. In the starter pack, we have a video that goes into great detail, but let me give you the MVP version, and then go ahead and watch that video if you're interested. So both game thinking and design thinking can trace back to some core roots of good design, which is called the double diamond approach to design. And that's where you have expansion and then narrowing, expansion and then narrowing in your design process. And it's an iterative rhythm that really good design thinking embraces, as does game thinking. Game thinking and design thinking also share an emphasis on empathizing with the customer and on really doing some upfront research so you understand people, and then doing some iterative and rapid play testing to try out your ideas. In theory, design thinking includes all of that. In practice, a lot of design thinking includes ideation, but not so much the rapid play testing part, especially when you get into design sprints, which don't really give you enough time to do that properly. So design thinking also emphasizes empathizing with your customers, but game thinking brings a new edge to that that's deeply rooted in innovation practices, which is not just to empathize with your the larger group of customers that you want to target, your TAM, but to empathize first with a very narrow slice of your hot core customers, which many of the people that are smartest about startups also emphasize. You want to delight a very small group of high need early customers first before trying to go after the mainstream. And game thinking gives you the tools to do this. So it builds on top of what's great about design thinking, but it gives you new tools, the superfan model for empathizing with customers, and the learning journey mastery path model for designing a compelling experience that gets better as your customer becomes more skilled. So I hope that answered the question. Do we have any more?
Yes, one more just came in. I'll just read it. I work in the nonprofit sector and design client programs. Can game thinking help me create better service programs?
Game thinking is an amazing service design methodology. We actually, earlier this morning, I got out of a meeting with some of our clients. We have a product leaders group, and one of them used game thinking to pivot from her original idea, which was a course, into a service. And she did it by actually finding out what customers needed and then building that into her MVP service. So game thinking came out of multiplayer gaming, which was usually framed as a service. So it's probably the best methodology on the planet for designing a better service. All right. So this is great. Looking at the time, we're doing fine. If you have any more questions, first of all, go get that starter pack and make sure to pick up your ebook before Monday so you get the 80% discount. We did that on purpose. We want you to find it incredibly easy to get started with game thinking. If you're just joining us, I'm Amy Jo Kim, the founder of the Game Thinking Academy, here with my team and my co-founder and you all, sharing the basics of game thinking. Go to the starter kit webpage. You can get an 80% discount on our ebook. You can get a free cheat sheet and MVP canvas by taking our quiz and watch a bunch of great educational videos. Great. This person says, amazing, just what I'm looking for. Awesome. Now, I want to tell you, one of the things I hear a lot is people reading the book and then reaching out to me and saying, why did you give so much away? Why did you tell them the how? Aren't you supposed to hold that back? Well, I didn't want to, because this stuff is so friggin' useful. I want you to have enough just by getting the book that if you're motivated, you could implement it. I had the product manager at a healthcare startup here in the Valley reach out to me and said, I got your book 6 months ago. I got copies for everyone on my team. We redesigned our whole customer journey around it, and it helped us raise our next round of funding. Thanks. Said, do you want my program? She said, the book was great. So our programs are also amazing. So we have a certification program where we certify top product leaders and coaches and trainers all over the world. We're just running that now. Next cohort's coming up in September. We have a service we're going to be launching in September, a new service. We used game thinking to design. We have a team accelerator. So if you're listening to this and you are part of a funded team and you want to save your team 6 to 12 months of time and find product market fit 10x faster than any other way, should reach out to us. Let us know. PM me on, you can direct message me on LinkedIn if you'd like. That would be great. But we have different levels of service where we work with people all over the world and also right here in Silicon Valley in California to accelerate their product and to level up their team and their skills so that they can get far better innovation results than they'd be getting in the past. That's our jam. That's our game. The first step is to go to gamethinking.io/starter kit, and you can get started on this journey. All right. So it looks like Miguel is asking, I can see it. How can game thinking help us generate new habits for the workplace? Thank you, Miguel. So for that, I think about one of our certified coaches, Jackson Chia, who is in Malaysia, based in Kuala Lumpur, works in Singapore and throughout Southeast Asia, to use game thinking with very large organizations to help them with employee onboarding, employee engagement, workplace practices. Game thinking is a great methodology to do that. Part of the trick is you need to learn what existing practices are in order to change them. So, Miguel, if you could type in a little bit more about your particular situation into the comments, I can address your particular situation. But the basics of how game thinking can help you do that is it helps you build new habits by first understanding existing habits and unmet needs, and then as much as possible, piggybacking on and infiltrating people's existing lives. One of the hardest things to do is build an entirely new habit. I know, I've tried to do it multiple times, hundreds maybe. It's very hard to do. Sometimes people do it, but if you want to increase your odds of building habits, the smartest thing I've ever seen is to first really understand the unmet need driving someone to use the product. Because just trying to build a habit that doesn't have a driving unmet need, very hard. But if you understand the need and then understand what people are already doing and find a place in their lives where you can piggyback on a habit. Let me give you a great example of this. Last year, we were working with a B2B client who is a consulting organization that works with very large companies. They're based in Europe to do change transformation and change workplace habits. And they had been trying to do employee upskilling and training, which is one of the habits. They really wanted the employees to get in the habit of improving their skills. And the workplace was spending money to give them access to that. So they really, and it wasn't happening. And it was very frustrating. This happens a lot with employee engagement, employee training stuff, a ton. So we came in and used game thinking to understand the employee's existing habits first, before getting into all the design and the learning management system and all that. We just understood the employees. And guess what happened? We saw that a lot of them, when we used the game thinking methodology to understand them, we saw that a lot of them were really busy during the day and were trying really hard to work on things that got them raises and approvals and good reviews. And they didn't see the training as part of that. And so that's why they didn't do it. But it was also interrupting their work. But many of them had a commute on the way home or there where they had 20 to 30 minutes of kind of downtime and they were on their phone. And we'd ask them, what do you do on your commute? A lot of them used Duolingo to learn a language, or they caught up on social media, or they, watched a video they had queued up. But we realized that the opportunity to change the employee's training habit was to co-opt their commute time and turn that into training time. So we redesigned the app so it would work on their commute time. Usage shot up. That's an example of the power of that. And game thinking can help you change habits using techniques like that. All right. LinkedIn user says, I recommend this from firsthand experience. It's by far the most useful tool or framework you'll find on the planet for product development. Thank you for that awesome shout out. I appreciate it. I'm here talking to you all because I've seen that from our results, and I want those same results for you. So we're getting close to our closing time. Are there any more questions queued up, Scott?
Aura Delta
Awesome.
asks, is there a place I can find research or white papers on the results of game thinking?
So we don't publish white papers and research, we publish case studies. So if you go to gamethinking.io/cases, you'll see our first few case studies. We have 6 more coming out this summer. So go to gamethinking.io/cases, and you can hear in detail the effects of game thinking. In terms of research, I have a PhD in behavioral neuroscience. I used to publish in scientific journals. Game thinking uses a lot of scientific methodology. We are very focused on results, client results. So we have a lot of testimonials, and you'll see a lot of those testimonials throughout our website at gamethinking.io. And then on detailed case studies where we saw a huge result and really breaking down why they got that result. Because one of the reasons is, let me take something and head on. Does everyone who follows game thinking or who buys the book build a hit? Of course not. Any more than anything else. A huge part of getting results is having a functioning team. I've seen people take game thinking and just have a really dysfunctional company, and things, for some reason didn't work. There's a lot that goes into having a hit. There's a lot that goes into a successful product. The game thinking methodology can help you 10x product market fit. It can help you build habits that stick. It can help you create a learning journey to create a product that gets better as your customer gets better. It can do all those things. Will that work for everybody? No. Will it, if you follow it and you have a setup where you have enough resources and you have a team to work with, which is very important when you're trying to bring an idea to life, it can dramatically increase your odds of success. So if you check out our case studies. And in terms of white papers, I would subscribe to Game Thinking TV channel, and I would follow me on Medium. There's a lot of things written up there that you'll find very useful. Recovering academic myself. Oh, whoop, whoop. Hey, how many people here are recovering academics? Tell us in the chat. Maybe you're an aspiring academic. Tell us that too. So yeah, I do teach. I'm an adjunct professor at the USC Digital Media School, top game school in the country. I helped bring that to life, actually. But I'm an adjunct there, and I also teach game thinking at Stanford about once a year, but I'm not an academic. I work with top brands. I work with game studios and entrepreneurs and startups worldwide. And I coach and bring up and train product leaders worldwide. That's my jam. And I see the difference between teaching academically and getting results. So, one thing I will tell you, this is a pointer into some really interesting lives we're going to be having later this month. Higher education is turning more into like what we do, and like all the really academic held back stuff going online is forcing more and more people to do project-based work as their academic offerings. Because one of the biggest differences is, it's all about how did your project go, right? And let's get your project, from here to here. And let's increase your project's odds of success. And let's make sure you're, designing for the right people. More and more higher education is gonna, especially in the digital arts and sciences, is turning into that kind of project-based coaching style work out of necessity as they move online. And you're going to hear more about that this summer from Mike Sellers, who runs the graduate level game design program at Indiana University. So stay tuned. All right. So this was awesome. Any more questions or comments from the audience? Hope you liked it. Go grab your starter kit. There's free stuff. That don't miss out on our cheapo sale to get this powerful system into your hands. So it looks like we're good. Yes, Scott? Yeah.
Yeah,
awesome. Thank you all for joining us today. I hope that I see you online. I'll see you on LinkedIn and YouTube. Make sure that you subscribe to Game Thinking TV on YouTube, because we post new things every week. And next week, we're going to be talking about how to keep your remote team healthy and happy, and how to promote their own mental health as you're managing remotely, and as we're all living in this crazy time. So I hope that you stay safe and sane. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you online. Take care.